Vanakkam. Welcome to this course on Classics in Neuroscience. In this series of videos, we have been looking at foundations of brain imaging, in particular the neurological foundations of neuroimaging. In the last video, we looked at spreading depression of Leo and migraine. In this video, we will take a slight detour and look at the eradication of polio, because no discussion of the development of the field of neuroscience or neurology would be complete without the description of how polio was eradicated, because in the 1940s and 1950s this was a scary disease. It was extraordinarily scary for parents, because this diagnosis, once it comes, can be devastating. It causes a huge difference for the patient and their parents. In the good old days, now we have eradicated polio, but how did this happen? That is the focus of this video. So, poliomyelitis essentially is a neurological disorder that is also called as infantile paralysis due to a virus. Famous people who were affected by polio are Percy Renshaw, the person who discovered the Renshaw cell. Remember, we have discussed this. Actually, this was described by Renshaw first and later properly codified and described by Eccles, who generously gave the name of Renshaw for this. Please do check our earlier video on this. Also, my video in the course Neuroscience of Human Movement, in which I describe the function of the Renshaw cell. But remember, Percy Renshaw died because of polio. Also, the famous American president Franklin D. Roosevelt was a patient of polio. How was this cured, or how was this addressed? The ability to isolate, identify and grow large quantities of the virus in test tubes essentially enabled the development of a vaccine against this virus. So, this virus was first isolated at Harvard University by John Enders in collaboration with Thomas Weller and Frederick Robbins in the 1940. Successful isolation of this virus by this team from Harvard later led to the isolation of this virus from fecal samples. Later, Jonas Salk developed or produced an injectable inactivated virus that would lead to an increase in antibodies that were sensitive to this virus, essentially acting as a vaccine. Albert Sabin also developed an oral attenuated virus that also had similar effects. The Nobel Prize for the isolation of this virus, the polio virus, was presented to John Enders, Thomas Weller and Frederick Robbins. Somehow, for the development of the vaccine, Jonas Salk and Albert Sabin did not receive the Nobel Prize, but they also contributed in our fight against this deadly disease, that is polio. Remember, these vaccines were produced in the 1950s, the golden era of neurology, neuroscience, and the broad field of neurological sciences or neural sciences. These are the references that we used in the last several videos. With this, we come to the end of this video. In this video, we looked at poliomyelitis and how the virus that is responsible for the development of poliomyelitis was isolated and how a vaccine against this virus was later created. Thank you for your attention.